Today we are reading again from my Treasury of Fairy Tales, but today we are going to be reading The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen. I've got my two little ducklings right here as well, listening in to the story at the same time. One sunny summer day, a mother duck built her nest among the reeds near the moat of an old castle. There she laid her eggs, and there she sat, keeping them warm day after day. Finally, the eggs began to crack. Peep, peep! Out popped each fuzzy little duckling's head, one after another. Mother Duck nuzzled each of her babies. "Welcome," she quacked. Then she noticed that one last egg, the biggest one of all, had not yet hatched. "Oh dear," she said, sitting down again. "I wonder how much longer this one will take." As you can see, there she is. She's sitting on her eggs. And then here's all the little ducklings, all the little babies. They've all hatched, other than one, and they're all looking at this egg, wondering, when will it hatch? It's a big egg. Finally, a long time later, the biggest egg began to crack. "Honk, honk," said the duckling, tumbling out. He was much bigger and scruffier than all of the other ducklings. "He's not as pretty as my other babies," Mother Duck said to herself, "but I'll look after him just the same." The next morning, Mother Duck took all of her babies, even the big ugly one, to the moat for their first swimming lesson. They all followed her into the water, splish, splash, splosh, one by one. They all swam beautifully, and the big ugly duckling swam best of all. There he is. There's the ugly duckling coming out of his shell. And there's Mother Duck taking them all for their very first swimming lesson. But look, the ugly duckling is swimming the best one of all of them. The other ducks came to watch. "Who's that scruffy creature?" squawked one. "He's my youngest duckling," said Mother Duck. "See how well he swims." "But he's so big and so ugly," quacked the other ducks, laughing. While his brothers and sisters swam along, the little ugly duckling paddled into the reeds and tried to hide. Mother Duck came over to him. "Don't worry about all those silly ducks," she told him. "I'll take you to the farmyard this afternoon. I'm sure the animals there will be kinder." There's all the naughty ducks taking the mickey out of the poor little ugly duckling. Oh, his mummy loves him. His mummy loves him lots. But she was wrong. As soon as the farmyard animals saw the ugly duckling, they began to laugh and shout. "Most of your ducklings are lovely," clucked the hen, "but look at that big, scruffy, ugly one. He's nothing like the others." "He's too ugly for this farmyard," cackled the goose. The pig snorted and said, "Why, he's the ugliest duckling I've ever seen." The little ugly duckling ran away and hung his head in shame. Ah, there's Mother Duck and the goose and the pig and the chicken all picking on the poor little ugly duckling. Oh dear, you can hear them. The same thing happened the next day and the day after that. The ducks on the moat and the animals in the farmyard all teased the ugly duckling and chased him and called him names. Even his own brothers and sisters made fun of him and tried to peck him when they went swimming. The ugly duckling had no friends at all. The ugly duckling was so sad and lonely that he decided to run away out into the big wide world. Early one morning, before anyone else was awake, he ran away through the reeds, past the moat and the farmyard, and out of the castle walls till he came to a marsh. There he is, all of his brothers and sisters taking the mickey out of him. Poor little duckling. And there he is, making his way away from the castle, going out on his own. There he saw a flock of wild ducks dabbling in the water. "What kind of bird are you?" they asked. "I'm a duckling," the ugly duckling replied. "No, you're not," said the biggest duck. "You're much too ugly. We don't want to have anything to do with you," and they turned away, leaving him alone. The ugly duckling spent 2 lonely days on the marsh, far from the other ducks. Then on the 3rd day, a group of hunters came, scaring all of the ducks away. There's all the ducks chasing him. And there's the farmers with their big guns have all turned up to hunt the ducks. They're shooting. Oh dear, very scary. The frightened ugly duckling ran across the marsh and over the fields and meadows. When he saw a cottage at the edge of the woods, he flew down and crawled in through a window, curled up in the corner of the kitchen, and fell fast asleep. An old woman lived in the cottage with her cat and her hen. The next morning, the cat and the hen found the ugly duckling. "Can you lay eggs?" clucked the hen. "No," said the ugly duckling. "Can you catch mice?" meowed the cat. "No," said the ugly duckling. "Then you're useless," said the cat. "And you're very ugly," added the hen. "You'd better get out of here before I scratched you," hissed the cat. There's the naughty cat and the naughty chicken. Not being very nice at all. So once again, the ugly duckling ran away out into the big wide world. The ugly duckling wandered far and wide until he came to a lake where he could swim and find food. There were other ducks there, but when they saw how ugly he was, they kept far away from him. The ugly duckling stayed on the lake all summer. Then the autumn came and the weather began to grow cold. All the other ducks began to fly south where the weather was warmer. The ugly duckling shivered by himself in the tall grass beside the lake. There's all the ducks flying off to find somewhere warmer to go. And there's the ugly duckling making his way into the reeds so that he could stay warm. One evening, just before sunset, the ugly duckling looked up and saw a flock of big, beautiful birds above him. Their white feathers gleamed in the rosy gold sunlight, and they had long, graceful necks. They were flying south, just like the ducks. The ugly duckling flapped his stubby wings and stretched his neck to watch them for as long as he could. They were so beautiful that he felt like crying. "I wish I could go with them," he thought, "but they would never even look at someone as ugly as I am." Well, I don't think he's very ugly, do you? I think he's a very beautiful ugly duckling. And there's all of the swans all flying in the sky, making their way to warmer places. Autumn turned to winter and the lake froze solid. The ugly duckling couldn't swim any longer. His feathers were caked with ice and snow, and he couldn't find any food. Luckily, a farmer found the ugly duckling and brought him home to his family. The farmer's wife warmed the ugly duckling up by the stove, and the farmer's children tried to play with him. But they were loud and rough, and the ugly duckling was frightened. He flapped his wings and knocked over a milk pail. The children screamed and laughed and tried to catch the ugly duckling, which only frightened him more. The ugly duckling flew across the kitchen, right into the flour bin. The farmer's wife chased him out of the house and into the yard, where he hid among the bushes. Oh dear, look, he's very cold. And there's the children chasing him, and he's knocked over the flour and the milk. I bet the farmer's wife wasn't very happy about that. Somehow, the ugly duckling found his way to a swamp, and there he managed to live for the rest of the long, hard winter. At last spring came, bringing bright, warm sunshine. The ugly duckling spread his wings and was amazed to find that they were big and strong. He flew up into the air and across the fields to a canal. There, swimming along the glassy water, he saw the beautiful birds he had seen last autumn. I'd better hide, he thought. If they see me, they'll just chase me and call me names like all the others have. But when the birds saw him, they swam over to meet him. Hello, they said. There he is, look, he's flapping his wings for the first time. And there's his new friends. He doesn't realise that over the winter he's turned from what he thought was an ugly duckling into a beautiful swan. The ugly duckling looked around. He couldn't believe that they were talking to him. We are swans, explained one of the birds. And so are you. You're a very fine young swan indeed. The ugly duckling looked down at his reflection in the water. It was true. A handsome swan looked back at him. The other swans made a circle around him and nuzzled him with their beaks. Welcome, they said. We would be happy to have you in our flock. The new young swan thought his heart would burst. I never dreamed I could be so happy, he thought, when I was a little ugly duckling. And looking around at his new friends, he knew that he would be happy here forever. There he is. And there he is with his new friends. And they're nuzzling him and showing him lots of love as their new swan friend. The end. I'll be back next time to read The Little Red Riding Hood, again by the Grimm brothers. See you soon. Mwah.